So let's break it down, the rosters. Stanford obviously is the favorite right now, projected to score 114 points.
Yeah.
With a big three, a crazy big three, with Robinson, Hicks, and Sprout all scoring 11 or less points. You could argue Hicks may be the better guy than Robinson. Sprout, I think, is the clear third guy, but Sprout did not run regionals. Sprout may not be 100%. And if he's not 100%...
Based on what? Just because he didn't run regionals?
Sources.
A lot of people have
sources.
Okay. All right.
So, I think that there's a chance that Sprout may not be the true top 10 scorer, and Sprout may fall back into the 20s. And if that happens, that opens the door for an Oklahoma State, a BYU, to get into the mix.
I think he could drop back into the 20s and it's fine. For Stanford, it's all about 4 and 5. And I've seen enough this year with I've seen enough this year with their 4 and 5 to be confident that they're going to come through. I think Stanford is the rightful #1 team. I think
agree with that.
BYU is interesting just because of how deep they are, the potential for 5 All-Americans. Oklahoma State, you could say, could have 5 All-Americans. They'll be running at home. NAU is the one that looks the shakiest to me out of anybody in this top 4.
Yeah, I agree with that, especially when you look at Colin Solomon and George Kush. They haven't been running where we thought they would be. Obviously, George coming off of All-American performance at Nationals last year, but his regular season this year, not doing so much. He didn't run regionals. He did a workout instead. Colin Solomon, big star freshman, is not running the way Nico Young ran as a freshman.
Yeah.
Right? So Colin Solomon's not the top 20 type, true freshman that we thought he could have been, which is okay. Not most freshmen aren't that. Which means NAU is looking towards Brody Hasty to improve a little bit more. Looking for Ryan Raff, who has never really put together a good performance at Nationals. Yeah. But Ryan Raff has one of the greatest statistical careers of all time. This will be Ryan Raff's 5th season because of COVID. 3 of the 4 seasons where he was on the starting line, they've won the national title. The one that he wasn't on, 2019, they lose. Mm-hmm. So Ryan Raff say, hey, coach, I may finish 150th. But here's the thing. If I'm on the starting line, the team wins. Mm-hmm. And I have proof.
Good luck, Sean.
3 times I've run, we've won. The 1 time I didn't run, we lost. So you could argue, hey, Ryan Raff, if he's on the starting line, I knew he was going to win.
Yeah. Listen, NAU needs to draw an inside straight, basically.
Yes.
That's the way I'm looking at this. They need to run really well, and then they need other stuff to happen with the other 3, like all of the other 3. BYU, I like the pack that they have. They have
a good pack.
You have 2 through 6 all finishing 25 to 54, which in a national championship is not going to be that much time. You have Klinger out there only scoring 4 points, so that gives them a low number. Up front, you got Big Race Brandon Garnica in second at 25.
No, he was not Big Race Brandon in Stillwater in March of 2021.
So he's got 1 box left to check in his career, and it's going to be this. He's Big Race Brandon and Terre Haute.
I see that.
I guess the team I wonder the most about is Oklahoma State, and in particular Isai Rodriguez, because you have him scoring 14. Can he be the Rodriguez from Madison? He's had a bunch of injuries. He was obviously in that very serious car accident a year ago or so at this time. Yeah. We know how talented he is. Just won the regional competition. Like, could he score 5, or is he going to go? Is he going to slide back potentially and score 30 or 40 points? So I like Stanford here. If you're saying that Sprout isn't 100%, I'm still going to roll with Stanford.
Yeah, like I'm going to go through it. I'm going to say why each team will win or lose. So Stanford will win because of their big 3. They will lose if one of their 4 or 5 disappears. So that's what's going to happen for Stanford. Oklahoma State, they will win if Victor Shitsama runs like a big 3 guy with Isai and Alex Mayer, because right now he's kind of like a wild card. He's had a few good races where he's run like in the top tier group, and then a few races where he's run in the back of the group. If he runs with Mayer and Rodriguez, Oklahoma State all of a sudden has the exact counterbalance to Stanford's big three. And then I honestly would take Oklahoma State's 4-5 against Stanford's 4-5.
It's close.
And then all of a sudden, you got a chance for Oklahoma State to win. The way Oklahoma State loses is, one of their stars falls apart. Because that has happened. Look, BYU in 2021, Brandon Garnica fell apart. Someone like at Notre Dame, like Yard Goose didn't run well. So there's always these times where like someone you think is going to be top 20, and then all of a sudden they're finishing 80th, and you're like, ugh. So Oklahoma State just needs to make sure none of their guys has a, oh, what happened moment. Mm-hmm. BYU, I mean, they win if they just do their job, and Stanford and Oklahoma State have a minor hiccup.
Well, I think they need 4 All-Americans, maybe 5.
Which is doing their job.
I think
because they have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to have 6 All-Americans. If BYU runs their ability, they'll have 6 All-Americans. And then the rest will just take care of itself. And then NAU, the way they win is they need Ryan Raff to run out of his mind. They need Brody Hasty to run out of his mind. They need Santiago Prosser to run out of his mind. They need George Kusha to run out of his mind. They need Colin Solomon to run out of his mind. And then they just need Nico and Drew Bosley just to do their thing.
I mean, I think...
Which shows its odds are not good.
So the second part of what you said, I think, is right. I know I said they needed an inside straight, but it's not that far off because I think you can count on Young and Bosley to deliver and get in the top 10. And even if Young doesn't have his best race, he's still going to score you 4 more points than he originally did. Hasty was 39th last year. Do I have that right? So you just need 2011 Hasty.
2011?
2021 Hasty. Excuse me.
It's like a elementary school Hasty?
He was probably really good that year, I'm assuming. He always was good. So then it just comes down to those other 2. So then of the remaining 4 guys, from Kusha to Solomon to Prosser to Raff, can you get 2 other guys? And Kusha's ran really well, too. So you really just need them to revert to the form that we thought they were going to have at the beginning of the year to give themselves a shot. Now, that's not necessarily going to put them over the top because I still think it takes a stumble from at least 1, maybe 2 of the other top teams out there. But that would at least put them in the mid 100 range to low 100 range.
Do you know how I think they actually do win? It's not going to be on Colin Solomon or George Kusha. I don't think they're going to run well. I think they're going to finish in the 80s to 120s. I think the way NAU will win, and I do think there's a legitimate slice of the pie where NAU can pull this off. Nico and Drew do their thing, and that's 90% likely to happen, right? Mm-hmm. I think if Brody Hasty just runs and finishes 30 to 40, that's doable. I think there's a 60% chance of that happening. What they need is Ryan Raff to have the race of his life that he puts together sometimes. Sometimes he's run really well. Yeah. It's just that he's never run well at this specific meet. But he has the ability. He's a 5th or 6th year senior. If he runs and finishes 40th, and then the last one but not least, you need Santiago Prosser to have the coming out race. It's like, I am the next era of NAU distance running. I am the guy who's going to go out there, finish 25th. And everyone's like, wait a minute. No one saw this coming. Now NAU is set up for the next few years, led by the Bosley, Young, Prosser trio. And I think Prosser, he's had a couple of good races. So it's basically Prosser running 25th, Raff 40th, and Hasty 30th. And then they win. Again, odds are probably less than 5%, but they're not 0.
Yeah.